Welcome to the Sonic Bin, a bad Sonic game podcast. I'm Aaron Hillsammer, and joining me on the panel today are Andrew Darling.
Hi.
And PJ Steblin.
Hey, everyone.
So, we made it, 5 episodes, and it's time to do a Sonic one. I don't know how it took us this long, but we're here, and it's time, and we did it. And this month, we're talking about Sonic Unleashed, the 2008 video game that took the world by storm, quite frankly. This game has a lot of story in it. There's a lot going on, so I wanted to just kind of set the stage to tell you what happens at the beginning of this game so that you kind of know what's at stake here, because it's pretty buck wild. So the game opens with a crazy space battle between Sonic and Dr. Robotnik in what's really a pretty cinematic cutscene. I was kind of blown away by it. Like, it doesn't look great, but just the way it's set up, like it feels like I don't know. It feels pretty good.
I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good, actually. Like, I don't know. It looks better than the Star Wars Clone Wars TV show, which is fucking buck wild to me.
Yeah, which was its biggest inspiration.
Yeah, it's very much like post Phantom Menace, like the whole intro. It's very good. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah. So during the course of this battle, Sonic turns into some Goku-looking guy. I guess that's Super Sonic. I didn't really know what was going on, but he turns yellow, which is kind of crazy. And then Robotnik sucks all his Chaos Emeralds out, which is bad. I think the Chaos Emeralds is why he was able to go Super Saiyan, and now he can't because the Eggman stole his emeralds. And then Eggman uses those emeralds. He shoots a big laser. It breaks up the Earth into like a bunch of pieces, and it also turns Sonic into a werehog. Nothing weird about that. After that fight, werehog Sonic lands on the Earth, and he finds a cute little flying rodent guy named Chip. And then they go about putting the world back together and having all kinds of crazy adventures. They fight Eggman a bunch of times, and Tails and Amy are there too, and it's great, and I love it.
Can we talk about just the intro cutscene for a second?
Yes.
So after Eggman sucks Sonic's Goku juice out of him and summons an Eldritch God. Right before that, sorry.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Eldritch God. Sorry, my bad.
He says, "I've been waiting a long time for this." Like, he expected all of what happened after he did that to happen, in which a Cthulhu comes out of the earth and Sonic turns into a werewolf.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that. I just had to bring that up because it killed me when I.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow.
And also the cutscene looks pretty damn good. I put in my notes that the fidelity of Sonic's wear fur and Eggman's mustache are as good as Mario's mustache in Odyssey. I remember a lot of people were upset about how detailed Mario's mustache was when that game came out. Eggman and Sonic's fur in the cutscene looks so fucking good. It's incredible.
Yeah, 10 years earlier they were doing Mario mustache.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And then once the cutscene ends and then the in-game cinematic happens, I thought that it was very appropriate that the back of the box's tagline was "The difference is night and day," because those two things look nothing alike. Like, the fidelity completely drops as soon as you get into real game. It just looks so fucking bad.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right. So before we get into that, how did you guys play this game?
I played it on are you talking about the console we played it on?
No, how did you bring yourself to play the game?
A lot of drinking, a lot of crying,
a lot of self-inflicted pain.
Yeah, a lot of motivation. I listened to a couple Tony Robbins motivational audiobooks, to get me in the mood.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. No, I played it on PS3, and what's funny is I assumed that the PS3 and Xbox 360 games were going to be rated the lowest, and I was right. So that was nice to find that out. But,
yeah, I guess the Wii and PS2 versions of the game were actually very different.
That's bizarre. Yeah, that's bizarre. The Wii was rated at least out of 10, 3 to 4 on average points higher than the PS3 and Xbox 360, and it shows, to be honest, because I watched. After I played it, I watched some video of the Wii gameplay, and it was oh, okay, that would have been way more fun, because I had multiple crashes on the PS3.
Oh my
and it's
God.
funny. Yeah. It's funny because it's
Wow.
they released it, and it seems like they did little to fix all the glaring issues in terms of functionality in the game. So yeah, PS3, don't do it on that.
PJ, do you think that the higher scores across the board on Wii and PS2 may be because there are fewer levels put on those versions?
So now that you mention it,
I did research, and yeah, there's like less daytime levels in the Wii and PS2 version, which is crazy because you would think that well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but those were probably my favorite parts of the game, so you'd think that that less werehog levels would have led to a better score, but
that they would want to focus on the infinitely better aspects of the game. But honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yes.
Okay. I played this on the Xbox, and I was visiting my girlfriend's parents, so I had to like scrounge up an Xbox. I didn't have an Xbox 360 because I didn't have one. We happened to like dig out Miranda's old Xbox 360 from her childhood, which like the last game played on it was like a Zumba game. That tells you like how long it was sitting
like
dormant.
A Connect.
Yeah,
Zumba game?
I think so.
Oh wow! Did you play it?
No, I don't think we had the disc. Anyway, so I dusted that off, and then shout out to a friend of the show, Brad, for giving me a 20-inch TV like a few years ago, because I used that I hooked that up, and the sound wasn't working. Like when I plugged the AV jacks in, it was just like this loud clicking sound, like, and so I had to plug like some earbuds into the TV to like circumvent the loud clicking sound the TV was making. So it was just like me sitting in a basement with a 20-inch TV like 5 inches from my face while I'm playing this awful game at my girlfriend's parents' house. So it was a blast. Had a real good time.
I love it. That's a true gamer. I'm glad you went to all that trouble just to play this.
I think that's the ideal way to play it.
Yeah, that's what they envisioned for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I wanted to play this game on my Wii U just because that felt right. And so I looked around at a few used game stores, and I found it in a few places, but it was weirdly expensive. Like I feel like I was having a hard time finding it for less than like $20, which I didn't want to spend. So I just happened to, I was like, we had to go to Walmart, and I was just like, I'll just check the clearance video games at Walmart. And I found it new, wrapped in plastic at Walmart for like $17 for the Xbox 360.
That's wild.
They had very few Xbox titles, and this just random 10-year-old Sonic game was happening to be one of them. It was fate, really. So I've got a brand new copy of Sonic Unleashed that I guess I'll have to keep forever. All right, so a little bit of background on this game. This was the first game developed on the Hedgehog engine, which I have to assume is as cute as it sounds. I think they actually ended up using that engine for a bunch more 3D Sonic games that came out for the Xbox 360 and the Wii. It was originally going to be a continuation of the Sonic Adventure series, which is close to my heart. I think we'll get into that. It was gonna have the title of Sonic World Adventure, which is what it was released as in Japan, but I don't know why they decided to go away from that. But yeah, like I mentioned, the Wii and PS2 versions were different, probably because of hardware limitations. I'm not really sure, but they had fewer levels, like Andrew mentioned. They also had the Wii version used motion controls extensively, and so that changed a lot of the game. But I didn't watch video about that. I would like to play it just to see how different it is, but.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like in like the Wii. Was there like a run? No, the bicycle game in Wii Sports Resort where you're just continuously pedaling the Wii and nunchuck. Like you have to do that like fast as fuck.
That would be great. And then the one key quote from the development of this game, Tetsu Kitano, who was a big part of bringing Sonic to 3D in the earlier games. He said, "I don't think that producing the werehog was a mistake per se, but there were a lot of things we could have done better if we had more time and resources."
Oh God!
So
what a statement.
So we don't regret the werehog, but maybe could have been. So, does one of you guys want to go ahead and take a stab at describing this thing? Because if any of you out there haven't seen the werehog, it's kind of a sight to behold.
Yeah. So, this is actually my first 3D Sonic game, and so there are like classic, there are classic 3D Sonic segments, which are like. I guess it's technically a platformer. You're sort of like blasting fast as fuck through like Italian like cafes and stuff, like destroying picnic tables.
Somebody only played the first continent.
I was gonna say.
Wait,
there was also a Japan one. There was a Russia.
There wasn't only one level. Oh, you sort of like it's weird because I was comparing this game a lot to Ratchet and Clank, where you're like grinding on rails, of avoiding enemies and stuff. You're essentially chaining moves, I guess, together to get through levels as fast as you can, collecting rings and stuff to give you boost. This game introduces this kind of actually interesting mechanic. I guess, like, on paper it kind of sounds cool, where there are day and night levels. And the day levels are regular Sonic levels. The night levels, you become the werehog, which becomes sort of like it's kind of like early God of War, sort of like it's like kind of like a beat 'em up a little bit of like a character action game almost.
I thought like Devil May Cry. That was the vibe I got.
That's true. Yeah, because it even gives you like a grade at the end. Like Devil May Cry. That's very good. Very very good, PJ.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's true. And you kind of go. You're slower, but the gimmick is the thing that you give up, or that you gain for being slower, is that you have really stretchy arms, a la like Mr. Fantastic or something. It's
the
very.
First time I saw those fucking spaghetti arms, man, it really upset me. What's up with that? Why does the werehog have spaghetti arms?
Isn't that classic werewolf lore?
It's deep lore. It's deep lore werehog, or werewolf. Where lore. If you read the where lore books, from J.J. Abrams, you'll find that in there. So
you have these like stretchy arms that kind of are, I don't know. I have a feeling they just, because when you like jump onto a ledge or something, his arm just snaps to it, and I feel like it was at first a bug, and they're like, oh wait, no, this is just a mechanic now, because it looks awful. It looks gross and terrible, and I hate it. But whatever. That's how it is. And so you're going through. You have like a hit, like a combo counter as you're destroying robots and stuff. And that's kind of there's also like these really boring box pushing puzzles that you have to do. They suck. And that's it, pretty much.
Yeah, they're really slow and they suck.
And also the checkpointing is very bad. And if you like, for instance, I on the last part of a werehog level, I kept getting my ass kicked, and it would send me back like 3 rooms, and in between, like after one of the rooms, I had to do this fucking box pushing puzzle like 40 times because I couldn't beat the damn end room.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because for me, like my biggest complaint with any game from like 2000 to like 2009 is checkpointing.
Yeah.
And when you have shit checkpointing, that makes me so fucking mad.
Yeah. It
makes me so mad. Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't just respawn outside of the door that you just, got your ass kicked.
Right.
in.
Exactly.
It doesn't. The puzzles are so boring. It doesn't even feel like you don't even feel good about solving them. It's just a matter of like, okay, where do I push this fucking box? So it doesn't make sense to keep, especially after like doing it multiple times. It doesn't make sense to keep making you do it. I don't know.
Exactly. It feels to me like it's like artificial difficulty. Like they're trying to make it more difficult.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like it's not it's not like a compelling difficulty. It's like a forced difficulty because they have a shit game on their hands and they don't know how to make it difficult through the gameplay. So they make it difficult on design.
Yeah, this reminds me. I took some pictures for you guys to kind of see how I was feeling about some of these levels. So I don't know if this was your guys' experience, but the first picture is of the result screen from a werehog level, where the time is it took time to beat was 27 minutes and 2 seconds, and I got a B for that, by the way. That's a B rank. And then
it's a new record.
And then I sent the same picture twice, but anyway. It's
a new record.
The other picture is of a Sonic result screen where it took me like 2 minutes to beat the level.
Yeah.
And it was like,
oh my god.
Yeah, it was So
yeah, I don't know if it took me 27 minutes, but it did take me way too long. I hated the night levels. I really did.
Yeah.
I think they're one of the biggest reason I didn't play this game more. They just suck. They're a slog. There was really nothing fun about them.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I feel like the whole game and my history with Sonic tells me that speed is kind of the point. And so I was like stressed out the whole time playing those levels because I felt like I was supposed to be doing it fast, but there's really no way to do it fast. And
Right.
I just hated it.
They do give Sonic a very cute run where he's just on all fours.
Yes,
it's
I do
kind
like
of
the
the
run.
best thing about the werehog levels.
Very cute.
But they don't utilize it very well. There's no.
Yeah, that's the thing about the werehog. He's not very ferocious at all. Like nobody's really scared of him.
No,
Yeah.
he seems like the kind of guy that I'd like to, grab a beer with, maybe cuddle with afterward. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
the very first time he's introduced, he just orders an ice cream from an ice cream stand, and nobody like nods their head or gives any kind of recognition of him at all. That also brings up something that I noted where when you're playing the Sonic levels, you just like dash into a robot and destroy it. But when you're werehog, you have to hit a robot for like 5 minutes before it dies. So the idea that Sonic is supposed to be like really strong doesn't actually make any sense in the context of the game, where
it doesn't come through.
puny pinball Sonic can kill a robot in one hit, but Sonic the Werehog has to like pummel a dude for.
Well, you see, it's simple physics, Andrew. Force equals mass times acceleration. So even though Sonic the Werehog is packing a huge punch, the Hedgehog is just so fucking fast.
Yeah,
okay,
Andrew,
you're right.
it's simple physics.
Sorry, I should have been going to college, I guess.
That just talking about how cute the werehog is reminds me of my favorite cutscene that I saw, which is I don't know if you guys have Andrew, I know you said you haven't played much 3D Sonic, but Amy has a lot of cutscenes. She never really does anything, and the point of all her cutscenes is that she just sucks. Like we hate her, and even though like she's fine, she never does anything wrong really, but just Sonic's always like pissed off that she likes him or whatever. And so it's such a funny cutscene because Amy runs in and she's like, "Oh my God, Sonic!
I've been looking for you forever."
And hugs him like she always does.
Yeah.
And then he does what he always does, which is like, Amy.
Hey, let me go.
And then she and so then she realizes that he's not actually Sonic, and she's like, "Oh, oops, sorry, mister."
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I just completely mistook you for someone else.
And then just leaves. It's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, I assume you guys were skipping all the cutscenes, but I couldn't.
No, I couldn't help myself but watch every one.
Yeah,
in fact, I went back and
uh,
watched them all. There's a compilation on YouTube where they
Oh,
try to
I
make
need-
it like it's a supercut. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Oh, cool. I need to do that because I'm not gonna beat this game, but I want to see more.
Yeah, how it ends. Yeah, because that's exactly what I did.
That actually brings up
great.
the character models in the game, like the townspeople. They remind me, and this is a very specific poll, but I was raised very Catholic, and so sometimes in Sunday school we would watch like cartoons, and it was like the time where everyone could fucking do like shitty CG, and so it just reminds me of like those like kind of like Veggie Tales-esque like Uncanny Valley horrible people. I guess Sausage Party is like the most contemporary example of that, where it's just these people are just they look awful and sick, and I don't want to look at them ever, and it's just all bad.
Yeah. Basically, everything about the design of the overworld is horrible. Like the voice acting sucks. Especially the werehog has this hilarious like scrawny guy doing a gruff guy voice.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
It's so bad.
I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
And the voice acting all around is bad. All the characters look stupid. All the NPCs are, like you said, they're basically just VeggieTales. I hated just walking around in this game.
The game looks terrible even when you're not in a cutscene.
Yeah, it really doesn't look better than Sonic Adventure
Yeah.
in the Dreamcast.
Yeah, it's
like
just-
I was making that comparison. It looks basically the same to me.
Yeah. One time I accidentally walked into a bush, and the game didn't know how to like generate every single leaf in the bush that I walked into, so my Xbox just exploded.
It's like, sorry, error. I gotta play Zumba.
So, I don't know if this is really something against the game. I guess if you liked the game, you would love this, but this game is stuffed with content. So there's the overworld where you can like go around and talk to everybody. There are the day stages, the night stages, which you described. There's boss levels, which I think we'll get to. Also special missions where you can go back and replay levels in like time trial or like ring challenges for food. You do that and you get food in exchange. Chili dogs especially, of course.
Oh, delicious.
And then there's this whole like souvenir collecting aspect. I don't know if you guys got into that at all, but like I barely delved into that because I was so bored with the idea of it. But you can get items throughout the game, whether they're from people or I think you can buy them with rings, and then you take them back to the professor and he like appraises them. And
Holy
it's just
shit.
there's a lot going on.
That's
There's
incredible.
also the day and night coins in the overworld, which I only learned this from looking at walkthroughs because I wanted to try to like get more of the game into me without having to bullshit with the dumb concept of hopping from continent to continent or whatever. And I think there's a lot of gatekeeping with the like you have to collect coins in the overworld to unlock the stages to continue in the game, which I don't think the game tells you at all. Like maybe I just missed the question mark that hints that to you, but I just like I was trying to continue playing the game and I couldn't because I needed to collect coins, and so I just gave up. But there's just so much going on in this game, and none of it's all that interesting. It's definitely stuffful.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that. I was playing kind of only the main campaign. I was just trying to get through it as fast as I could, and I think that if I had played far enough to get to the like where you can't progress because you didn't get any of the fucking coins, I probably would have stopped there if I had even made it that far. Because I was just actively avoiding them because I was trying to like this podcast is like awakening some part of my brain that I think speedrunners like use to formulate like the most direct path through a level, because I just want to get done with it so fast that I'm like trying to like maximize my button inputs and my character's trajectory through the level to not play it as much as I can.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that when I play these games.
Wow.
I mean, that does bring me to the one part which we didn't get into much, the daylight stages. So I had fun with some of them, especially I think just like the 1-1 that you play. That's the one you were describing with like the Italian like streets and marketplace vibe that you're like smashing beach chairs and like bodegas and stuff. Yeah. And I really liked that level. I played it a bunch because I kept doing the time trials, and I think it's just a good Sonic level. It feels very fast once you get somewhat proficient at it.
Yeah.
So this game has something that I think was pioneered in some of the early 2D games, but it has a obviously with all the Sonic games you collect rings, and then when you get hit by something, your rings fly out of you, and then they protect you from dying. So as long as you have rings and you get hit by something, you won't die. This game also has the mechanic of collecting rings in order to fill your ring energy meter. And then when you get that big ring energy, you can do a turbo. And turboing is kind of like how you play the game. So as long as you're collecting coins or rings, you turn them directly into energy, which you can use to go really fast through the levels. And that's kind of so once I only got kind of good because I played the same level probably 20 or 30 times. And like once you get to that point, it is sort of fun. And so I think if I wanted to put the time into this game, I probably would enjoy only that part of it, just the day levels that feel like traditional gotta go fast Sonic levels.
Yeah,
pretty well designed, and there's a lot of variability to them, and they're I liked it. PJ, did you have fun with those?
You know what? That's the thing, is that was the most fun aspect of the game for me. I almost feel like it doesn't make sense to me why they added these like nonsense werewolf levels. It just none of them were ever fun. The daytime levels were the most fun aspect of the game to me completely. Yeah, that's it, man. I really, honestly, on that subject, I don't really have anything else.
Yeah, I have to admit that it never occurred to me to play a level more than once. But right before recording this, Aaron was just kind of doing like a time trial on the first level, and watching him like chain together all these maneuvers and shit and be good at the level, it actually made it look like fun. And I even tried a couple times after him, and I think that the daytime levels are definitely like where the game shines.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually a mod out for this game that removes all the werewolf levels, so that would actually probably be the way to play this game.
That's the ideal way to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with that, it would be a decent game.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. There's so many good ideas that are employed in this game, but the bad ideas so far outweigh the good ideas, man. Like, there's one boss battle in particular, and I know we were going to talk about boss battles, so I guess this will be a natural transition into that. But like, there was the
I
peacock.
love national transitions.
Yeah, where you announce that it's a transition. I think that's the best transition is when you're announcing that you're transitioning into the next thought. But the peacock boss, I don't know if you remember that one where
I didn't get to the peacock.
I stopped at the beetle boss. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll explain the peacock battle. So you're fighting the peacock. You have to throw a barrel at it, and then there's quick time events where you have to like mash a button in a certain. Every boss has like their little quick time. Quick time events in general are the worst fucking design choice of any game ever. And it was even worse because my like distraction game while I was playing this was Resident Evil 4. And that game is riddled with QTEs. So it's like, I'm going to be a masochist and play this game. And then I'm going to go be even more of a masochist and play fucking Resident Evil 4 and hate life even more. So like, it was just going back and forth. And like, I'm playing both of these games and I'm just getting mad and mad and mad and mad. And I quit. That was the peacock boss was the last one that I fought. So I'm glad you guys didn't get that far. But yeah, quick time events are just the most like nonsense design element ever in game history, I think. Because you brought up God of War, right? Like God of War, they were riddled with quick time events. So
it feels like they just are kind of it's filler content. Like they could just put in an animation of him doing the thing that I would do if I had to press these. I don't give a shit. It's like I don't feel cool because I mean, even though the game tells you after you do a sweet trick in Sonic. In the daylight levels, it literally says "cool" on the screen after you do a QuickTime event to do a flip or whatever. Cool. I don't feel cool.
I just want to wash my hands and go outside,
Yeah. But I think we can talk about the night levels if you guys want. I had an idea while I was playing. It's just too slow, and I feel like if they went from it, like you said, it kind of feels like Devil May Cry a little bit. I think if they had went more in the character action game route and made it more like Metal Gear Rising or Devil May Cry or something, I think that it actually would have been better. But I never felt like those games are all about managing enemies, and I never felt like the controls let me do that effectively. And so I was always getting like hit from behind or hit from a plant from off screen or whatever that was shooting bubbles at me or whatever the fuck was going on in the game. I feel like it should have like given you more. It does have like a sidestep, but it's kind of anyone's guess where the fuck you're gonna go after you do that because of the lock on. The lock on is very weird and janky. But if it had like juggling or any of those like classic verbs from like fighting games or character action games, I think it would have just been even just a little bit more playable than it was, because it's just. It feels like there's an idea there, but they just didn't put any energy into fine tuning it or anything.
Thank you.
Weird.
I'm glad you said that, because throughout the entirety of my gameplay, which I think I put about like 10-15 hours into it, there are so many good ideas, but there's too many good ideas, I think, to where like they would come up with like this seems like a good idea, but then they would never really flesh it out. Is that it's just like there's way too much shit going on, and they never really put in the work to make all of those great ideas even better. They're good ideas, but they could have been great. Make ideas great again. That's what I wear that hat. I wear that hat.
No thanks.
All right. So for the Barkman review of the game, we have needs more verbs from Andrew, and then make ideas great again from PJ. When they re-release this for Xbox 720, they're gonna have some good fucking shit for the box set.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
So before we jump into final judgments on this game, I just wanted to put it to you guys: if we were gonna roleplay as Sonic Unleashed, which of us would be Sonic the Hedgehog? Which of us would be the werehog? And then who's Chip, the adorable flying buddy?
I hate to say it, but I think I would be Chip. I'll take that bullet.
I can get on board with that. You're all like clean shaven. You got a haircut. I'd get on board with that.
Yeah, you look good. You look cute. Yeah. You're a cute little. You're all smooth.
Yeah, I allow that.
And PJ's. PJ's the werehog. I gotta say it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And he's got by far the best beard. He's got a bit of a dark side. If I mean, I don't want to say too much.
Listen, I listen to My Chemical Romance from time to time, so.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Damn.
And my arms stretch to incredible lengths. You don't know how far they stretch. They'll
Stretch
go.
RPJ.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it makes me Sonic, which is good. That's what I wanted.
Well, yeah, I would say you're more of a Tails. I know that wasn't an option.
Hey,
but...
that wasn't an option. Fuck off.
I also have a last little nugget. Do you guys know who sung the intro animatic theme? Do you guys?
No.
Anybody a Bowling for Soup fan in the chat?
Oh my god, I saw Bowling for Soup in like 05, dude, at
man.
Warped Tour. Yeah.
Did they do their Sonic song while you were there?
They may have. I don't know. I was only 15.
That's crazy. Was it an original track for the game?
I don't know. I'd imagine so, but I have no idea. I didn't do that much research.
Bowling for Soup.
The other couple of things about music that I had. My favorite thing about the game was the music. I listened to the OST right before recording, and it's very good. The composer, and I might be butcher this, but Tomoya Otani. Sorry.
That's how I would say it.
He was the. It reminded me of like Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I looked up. Who did it. He was kind of the head guy. There was a lot of people who worked on the soundtrack for this game, but he was the head guy, and he was like a supervising producer for the soundtrack for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So
that game has great music.
It has really good music, and that was really good. And also, one last thing, did anybody get an F or an E in the results screen while playing this game?
No.
I actually don't think I did. No,
I did.
What did you do?
I don't know. It's probably the fucking 40 minutes it took me to beat a werewolf level, probably. But if you like, the worse that you do, the worse rating that you get, the worse the results theme sounds. As it sounds more and more out of tune. The worse, the poorer the grade you get.
Oh
That's
no,
cool.
that is actually pretty cool.
It's very
cool.
cool.
You feel like a total loser.
Yeah, it fucking rules. And honestly, I think that could just be the main theme. Like that's how you feel when you're playing. It's like out of tune and slow and shitty and yeah. So
yeah, I like it. I just discovered that this game was also developed by Gameloft for mobile phones.
Oh my god!
So I feel like if we ever do a bonus episode for this podcast, we should start with that. This is 2008, y'all. This was like early iPhone days.
Yeah.
So this is probably like on the Droid or something.
Yeah, I mean, this is about the time.
What would that have even been?
I mean, BioShock came out around this time, and they also had a mobile game for like on the Nokia or something.
Yeah, that was awesome though. It was like 2D.
Yeah.
They didn't try to do anything crazy with it. It was like, all right, yeah, this is BioShock, but in 2D.
We'll
have to revisit that.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Does this game belong in the bargain bin, or does it go into the trash can?
I'm gonna say that if you can find the modded version that's just the daytime levels, I say yeah, I like it. I like those parts. Otherwise, the other parts are very boring and bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a qualified yes/no from Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it goes in the bargain bin. To be honest, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was just kind of one of those games where it's like, take it or leave it. I feel like I try to play these games through the lens of like 2008. That's the hardest thing for me is like I've played so many outstanding games up until this point, but I try to think about it in terms of like playing it when it came out.
Well, that's actually interesting. I don't know if that is fair because there are games from fucking like 1994 that kick ass still.
True. That's true.
I don't think that age. I mean, if you think about movies, like movies from the 50s and 40s aren't. I mean, some of them are like, oh well, it's good for the time, but some of them still hold up really well. And I think the same is true for like video games. Like a lot of.
Well, you brought up BioShock. Like that game is incredible. And that came out at the exact same time as this.
Yeah.
So that's
and that game is timeless. That game.
Yeah, that's timeless. Exactly. So it's like that's like a given. But for Sonic Unleashed, I wouldn't play it again. For sure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's a total dog shit game. I think it's okay. I think there's a lot of aspects to it that could have been good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd give it maybe a 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem too. Is that like it just feels like two games mashed together, and one of the games is very bad, and one of the games is kind of bad.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. I basically agree with your assessment, PJ, except that I wouldn't put it in the bargain bin just because I don't think that's quite good enough to get in there for me. But I could definitely see myself returning to this game just for the day levels where it's a normal Sonic game. I think I will, but the rest of it, it's just too much of a slog to get through. I mean, I found myself just dreading playing this game more than the others that we've done so far, just because of all the shit you have to get through to do any gameplay. And so that was kind of my thing. All right, so instead of Sonic Unleashed, do you guys have any recommendations for games that's made you think of or better versions of it?
Yeah, I mentioned that the platforming segments reminded me of like Ratchet and Clank, and I think that I haven't played that game in a long time. I played the recent like remake or whatever that was tied in the movie that sucked, but I remember liking the first three like a lot. So if you I couldn't think of anything that the daytime levels made me think of, because Sonic is very much its own thing as far as I can think. I can't really think of anything. Maybe like Ori and the Blind Forest or something, but I don't know if that's like a good comparison. But as far as if you want to experience like the good, or like a good version of what the Werehog levels are like, Ratchet and Clank has a lot of the same kind of puzzles, only I think they feel a little bit smarter. And that game is actually funny, and this game is horrible.
Yeah. For me, I would say play a good Sonic game, like Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania was unbelievable. And I wasn't even like a Sega Genesis guy. I was never a Sonic guy. But Sonic Mania was so well crafted and put together. There was so much love put into that game.
Yep.
It felt like I was like back in like the 1990s. But yeah, it just evoked a lot of great nostalgic feelings. And it was also a solid game. And Sonic Adventure, too. Is another fantastic game. I know, Aaron, you brought that up. That's a phenomenal game. I have a lot of great memories with that game too.
Yep, yeah, this one's a no-brainer for me. My recommendation is Sonic Adventure. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, and I played it when I was really young, and I think that's part of it. But I did play it again a couple years ago on the Xbox 360, and it holds up. I think it's just such a better version of what this game was trying to do. Because it does have a lot in common. It has the overworld where you're kind of walking around talking to people. It has the kind of straightforward, really fast Sonic levels, but it also has a bunch of other characters you play as, and each of them has their own level style with different, objectives, and they're all pretty good. There's no part of that game to me that lags nearly as badly as so many parts of Sonic Unleashed. And like the story of Sonic Adventure is good. I think like, the voice acting is so much better, even in my memory at least. And like graphically, I thought it was great. The Dreamcast actually had pretty good graphics. And it's kind of, it was my only real experience with Sonic, but it gave me so much goodwill for the character that in the games that I've tried so many games since then, thinking that they're going to be decent, and they never are. Like I remember, when I finally got Sonic Heroes, I was so excited about it, and then just was so disappointed because I thought all Sonic games were good because of Sonic Adventure. So it's pretty easy to get your hands on. I think you can get it on most of the stores or on Steam or whatever. I don't know how it would hold up if you've never played it, but I still love it, and it's one of my all-timers. So all right, so that'll do it for us this month. If you want to, I guess I should say before I get into that next month we're gonna do Titanfall. That big game that everyone was really excited about, and then it came out.
There's no single player.
I'm excited for that.
You know what we should do? We should stream that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
We should stream that. Yeah, because it's only online. So
are the servers still up though?
I want to say yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I hope so.
But
if
may
they're
be
not,
wrong.
we might have a hard time.
We might have a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course.
We'll look into it.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Okay. If you want to email us and yell at us for things we got wrong, or just share it in our misery of playing these bad games, we're bargainbinshow@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at bargainbingames, where Andrew retweets a lot of gross stuff.
I'm really proud of the shit posting that I retweet on that account. So.
Yeah, it is. No, it is very good shit posting. Andrew looks at 100,000 bad video game tweets per day to give you 1 or 2 dank nugs, and for that, we thank him.
It's a pleasure, really.
Give us a review on iTunes if you feel like it. We'd appreciate it. As we're trying to grow our listener base and get more interaction with our cool guys out there, cool guys and gals. We're also trying to do some streams. I think we're gonna do another one soon. Now that we're all kind of back in a place where we can do that. So we're on Twitch at what's our Twitch handle, PJ? Do you remember?
Probably.
It's at Bargain Bin Games.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Same as our Twitter handle. That's
Yep.
That's good. That's good brand synchronicity, man. I appreciate that.
Staying on brand.
We did Jackbox a few weeks ago. We're definitely going to come back with some more streams in the coming weeks. So yeah, watch our Twitter feed and we'll put that out there. And then I just wanted to say thank you to RoccoW for our awesome theme, which is I think it's too good and it's the best part of our podcast, and we should maybe stop using it because it's really great.
Or just play that. Don't talk and just play that.
Just
for the duration
a
of the
40-minute loop of the theme instead of our podcast next week. So look forward to that.
Yeah, the Bargain Bin instrumental version. All right, thanks guys. Until next month. I'm Aaron. See ya.
I'm Andrew. Bye.
And I'm PJ. Go home.